Okay, Tony, what do you have to, what's going on today? What's got you fired up?
I went to the auto show again. Um,
Wait, you went again? This is what, your third time
yeah, it's the third
in
day
a
I've
week?
gone. So I went on the Thursday and then I went on the Friday and then I
Two.
was invited out to go again on the Tuesday.
That's
Um,
insane.
I've seen everything now and people sort of like the vendors, the ones I insulted on the Thursday kind of recognize me now. So, um, I think I mentioned it. I insulted the Nissan rep to his face about their shitty transmissions. And he was like, "Oh no, this one's a 9-speed." And I was like, "Sweet." And he's like, I'm like, "All of them now?" He's like, "No, just this one." And I'm like, "Okay, so the rest of them are shit." Um, but yeah, no, I saw something that bugged me and I wanted to bring it up. I wasn't going to talk about it again, but I wanted to bring it up. I saw a young man who could not have been older than 20 and he had a JVC, like a VHS camcorder. And I'm like, "Why are you walking around with that? Like, you look like a fucking idiot." Like, I don't, why do they have that, right? And then I mentioned this earlier, we're bringing this up again, but then you said they like the nostalgic shit, and then it's like he wasn't alive then. You know, it's 2025, 2005. DVDs were on their way out. Can you believe
Yeah,
that?
that's the fashion now, you know? He probably wore baggy jeans, a
Yeah,
loose
yeah,
hoodie.
like a couple people did like the recording racing events with old cameras on Instagram, and now everybody needs to bring their old camcorder out to record a car event and
Dude,
Think of
pretend
how
they
much
were alive
hassle
during the
that
golden
is
age.
to post that shit on
yeah,
social media.
you have to transfer it out to like a fucking, like, that's a whole process.
Yeah, it's
I
fucking
don't,
Not even
dedication.
transfer it out. Like, don't a lot of those cameras just like take like big ass old like D batteries?
yeah, something like that. Yeah, they're like,
They'll run like six of them in fucking parallel.
yeah. Some of them are not, like, I remember the one we had way later, like when they were cheap and bullshit, like did have rechargeable. But I recall people like slinging D batteries into their JVC camcorder. Fuck man, it was not a good
What is a
time.
D battery? I gotta look that up.
It's a
The
big
really
motherfucker.
round ones.
They're like comically large. Like if you know
I
what a
don't.
C battery is, it's a D, so way
Oh,
bigger.
dude, these are the ones that go into the those big ass mag light
Yeah,
flashlights.
and then they
Yeah,
barely
but
produce
like
light.
these
Yeah.
old cameras would take like six of them, and then you get to record for like 40 minutes.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
and those batteries are fucking expensive. They were expensive then, and they're expensive
They're
now.
still very expensive.
I don't know anything that takes a D battery these days, but yeah, back in
All
the
I
day.
have is old flashlights.
Yeah. Oh fuck. I don't know how to do it with these. Like you ever like see someone and you can't stop looking at them and then you just like are like, what is fucking wrong with you? Like I remember how shitty that time was. You know VHSs are like 240p? I didn't know that. Our memories are lying to us. We're all old as shit, listener, but man, like
Bro,
I
it's
didn't
about the
realize they
vibes. It's just like how we're into old ass cars, you know? Gives you a
But
feeling.
like I was still alive when my old ass cars were new.
yeah.
So, yeah, I guess.
I don't really I mean, I don't know. Like I get the whole vibe thing, but like okay, this is a very technical bullshit thing, but like here's my thing. I would record it with my 4K, as I did with my 4K fucking 60 FPS phone camera, and then transfer it out when I'm done editing it instead of transferring it over and now I'm chopping up VHS footage. I've done restoration stuff and it's like the most annoying shit. I don't understand. Whatever. You know what? This is just proving I'm fucking old, and that's all it's proving. Nobody is on my side other than you guys who are also old. So, I mean,
Just
whatever.
just cheap.
No, I've fallen for that though. I've spent money on a camera that's whole appeal is simulating old film
What?
stock. Like the
Bro,
the
you can
Fuji
just
camera that I
go
bought.
to the fucking not the dollar store, like Value Village or the old electronics store and buy one for like $10.
No, but this is
They're cheap
it's
because nobody
digital
wants.
retro.
I mean, I'm sure
Oh.
there's some old collector's items, but
So wait.
But anyway, I spent money on this camera, took it all over
Yeah.
Japan, and then I came back home. I looked at the photos. I'm like, man, is there? It all has that. There's this look, you know.
they're
Like,
fucking grainy kind of.
it's
And
that's what you. That's what this camera does. Like, it adds grain, adds like filters.
is
That
it one
looks
of
like
those like
old film.
Fujifilm or like
It
Instax
is.
things?
It's not. It's not an Instax.
So it is digital.
Instax.
Inta-
It is a
I don't
digital
know.
camera.
Oh, okay.
Does it at least
Yeah.
keep the original fucking photo and then give
It
you
does,
also
thankfully.
oh, thank God.
Thankfully, I shot it in RAW, so I don't have to just have that filter on it.
Dude, I would be actually
See.
annoyed at you if you told me that you shot it all in like found footage, like Sasquatch video style.
Anthony was about to lose all respect he had for you.
No, genuinely, and you paid
Built
for the
up over
privilege.
7 years.
Yeah, 7 7 years down the drain. I mean, was it expensive?
Bro, this camera is sold out everywhere. Okay, like there's demand for this type of look.
Did you get a good deal?
No, I had to pay retail for it.
You paid
It was like
retail?
$2,000.
No.
No.
It was over $2,000 actually for this camera. It's the
That's-
Fuji X100 Fuji X100. Sorry, Fujifilm X106. Yeah, look it up.
That is
Like
offers a
X100 VI6?
VI,
Yeah.
VI, yeah.
Okay.
I,
Oh, I've seen those before.
I've seen people taking pictures with this.
Okay.
I do kind of like it still, but sometimes people go overboard with the filters and it just looks like somebody shot it with their asshole.
I mean, that's what all old shit looks like.
That's what
So-
most home movies from the 90s and 2000s look like.
Yeah. I mean, it's not for me. Look, okay, I think it's comfortable. I understand the appeal of the vibes. I get it. I just, at least you shot it so that you can keep, like, the actual photos. Don't get me wrong. But do you think, on the topic of vibes, people are not vibing? This is a weird transition. This doesn't sound stupid. On the topic of vibes, people are not vibing lately with RWB. And it's kind of weird, right? Because, like, look, he's laughing at me. Look, it's not a good transition, but you know what? It's homely and delicious, as the kids
I like it. I like the effort. That is great. You
Hey,
got us
Gary,
off the other topic. This is good.
What?
I disagree with you.
What?
I think RWB is as popular as it's been.
Okay. Then let me rephrase it then, because I think it's popular, but let me rephrase this. There is, in the last month or two, at least that I've noticed, I might be old as shit, it might be 6 months old, whatever, that there has been a very loud crowd of people who very much disagree with Nakai's maybe vision and the way that he does stuff. Is that more accurate?
That is more accurate. I think what it is because RWB is as mainstream as it is currently, it is now reaching the audience of people who might be a little more opinionated
Right.
about cutting up a Porsche.
But
It's the social media. It's reaching everyone.
It's the social
Everyone has
media
their
aspect of it.
opinion.
Right
Yeah.
before it was like, oh, RWB, you kind of got to know,
Yeah.
but now it's just sort of out. Like they're doing RWB 997s now. That I think says it all
Yeah.
to me. They like originally it was a thing for like 993s and 964s and
It's
G
the air-cooled
bodies.
stuff, right?
Yeah. It's and like at its very core, it was sort of like Nakai himself owned a 911 that got damaged at the track, and he couldn't afford to repair it properly, so he made his own body kit for it, essentially. And everyone was like, "Oh, I kind of like that." And then more people started ordering them, and it just sort of ballooned into what it is today. So like he's not doing anything that he hasn't done before. It's just
Yeah.
if people are going to give him 30 grand for a kit and 20 grand to fly out and put it on the car, I mean, who's going to say no to that?
Sure. I mean, obviously, I think he also hired like a team of marketers, and like there's a guy who runs it all. I forget his name, but he's in a lot of people. He goes around like multiple countries in the world like doing this shit, right? And there's always this guy who's involved. I mean, we all went to. Actually, did you go, Aaron?
No, I didn't go.
You didn't go. So me and Nick went, but we went on different days to like see them do. There was one being built in the local area here, and it's something I encourage you to go see, because like this is like a big part of like social media and pop culture, and like it's very cool to see it in person, right? Like you can watch all the build videos you want, but it's very different to watch a very sweaty, very ashy looking gentleman building a funky
He
Porsche.
just fucking cranks smokes.
Dude, him and his assistant crank smokes.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I get it, because like on one end it's so basically this is where I'm confused, right? So I'm confused because it's not for Porsche people specifically. It's not like RWB was like some fucking secret, right? Like it was always sort of a known thing that there's this jackass who's cutting up the things that they value very much, right? And they were like, "That's crazy. I don't like that." And
Wait, wait,
people
wait.
were like, "Do it."
But the time when he did it, those cars weren't expensive at that point.
But
Yeah,
they've
like
been
when he
expensive for a
started,
while.
like when he did the original Stella car, which I think is still like that's car one.
Yeah, that was
Mm.
the 930 that he
Those
had.
cars were like fucking peanuts. Like we're talking 90s ish. So like those
Yeah.
G-bot. I don't think it's a 930 turbo. I think it's like a modified G-body Carrera that he
Mm.
has since turbocharged.
Right.
Could be wrong. You know, I'm not a history professor or anything, but those cars in the mid 90s, early 2000s were very, very cheap.
Right. No, I get that, but only reason I'm saying this is because I've obviously for us it's like we knew about this for years. Actually, I guess even for the general public, he was featured in which Need for Speed was it? The one that was Need for Speed like 2015 or
2015.
16. Yeah. So
Yeah.
like he's in that game, or he's at least he was in the. I didn't play the fucking game. I'll be honest with you, but he is in the trailer. I remember being like, "Oh, that's pretty cool. I like that they have all of these actual figures from car culture in it." So I feel like at that point, people were kind of aware of who he was, and that was 10 years ago. Believe it or not, that's fucking crazy to think. But I'm just saying that it's just there's been mass exposure, and now in the last like fucking by the beginning of this year, late last year, you start to have people who are like, making fun of them on social media, which is fine. You can definitely not like it and make fun of. You should make fun of people. Actually, you should criticize the things you don't like. But I just wonder where it came from, and maybe you're right. Maybe it just finally hit like super mainstream, and people were like, people are paying for this. Like,
Well, yeah, like it's like super mainstream now, but it's the core of the projects, like
yeah,
the 930s, the 964s, and the 993s. Those are now like collector's items.
right.
Like you even getting like a burnt out rusty ass rolling shell these days is like 25, 30 grand. So
Yeah, yeah. I think the hate comes from these cars just being collector cars now. And him being true to his roots, he's still cutting these up. He doesn't care about the value, right?
Yeah,
Because it's
yeah,
just what he's
he
done for
wants to
so
build
long.
a product.
yeah. Do you think it's also like a criticism of the work, right? Because it's like it's like he runs his fingers through like the caulking or whatever that he uses, and like the
Yeah.
shit you pull the car with. I'm blanking. Help me out here. Tow hook. Fuck. It's installed with glue. Like, you know. So people are
I don't
like,
know.
this is
I like
ridiculous.
the one we went to see that it definitely wasn't installed with glue.
Right.
There were nuts and bolts. Um, I don't know. Like everybody who complains has probably never set foot in a body shop and seen the work that goes on in a body shop because it's not all that dissimilar
No,
a lot of the
100%.
time.
It's actually crazy
You know,
because
like
he's yeah. Go ahead, sorry.
I was gonna say, like especially when you're putting like non OEM like fiberglass parts on a car, like you're gonna be adjusting things on the fly because they're all based on a mold and the molds aren't perfect, and the more you
Yeah.
reuse them and remake them, the less perfect it becomes. Like go buy any expensive body kit from I guess you could call it a first rate supplier, and they're all gonna fit like trash, but at least when he does it, he makes it look decent by the time it's done.
Yeah. Speaking of, and I'll just say this, I think it's funny actually that you said that because he really is like the archetype of like every guy who works at a body shop who chain smokes, right? Who doesn't really care for his health, who's a mess all the time. Like it's what body shop
He
workers generally
looks
look like.
he looks like the Asian version of the guy that I use for bodywork, the guy that painted my MR2.
Yeah. So I mean, it's funny that you meant. Oh, sorry.
I was
Sorry.
just
Go
gonna say,
ahead.
just like literally.
Yeah. No, I
I
know.
will
Same
say
memory.
that I wish he was a bit more selective with his clients
You think?
and just the type of yeah, like I feel like a lot of them do it for the social media clout, which I
100%.
guess helps his brand, but I
Okay,
think it
but
also waters down the
think of
I don't
it
know.
this way: if it was you and you were him, do you want like the millions of dollars that come from people paying for this, regardless of, I guess,
Who
watering
they are?
down the brand or not, or do you want to maintain a level of exclusivity and possibly not make as much for yourself?
Yeah.
Personally, me, I would want to protect the brand and keep it the way that I envision it, but I can also understand essentially selling out and maximizing my potential to make money while I still
I don't
can.
know. I'm not
Interesting. Okay.
I'm not gonna shill or nothing, but like I don't know, like is it selling out if like your vision from the beginning is just like this is what I like to do and I don't really care. Like, is it not up to
I
like,
th-
and this is
I
speaking from
think
a
that's
brand.
just it. I don't think he cares about exclusivity or not. Like the idea behind it was, I crashed my car, I got to fix it, make it look normal again, and this is the cheaper way to do it. And he just sort of keeps doing that, even though now the base cars are collector's items.
Yeah.
And then in a different aspect, I feel like social media kind of skews how many of these are actually out there.
Yeah, it could be.
Like there's probably only, maybe a few hundred of them. They don't do that many a year.
That's true. Yeah. I wonder how many he's done. Let's look this up.
It's just like
There is a registry.
it's, yeah, there is. So you can look it up, but like it's probably a lot less than you think it is, just because social media just puts it in your face, right? It's
300
just like
and sorry,
it's just like how
396
like
cars.
there you go. Like that's not that many cars.
Say 396.
Yep.
Wow, it seems like a lot. I mean,
Updated today.
for one dude to do,
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
So like think of like even we all say this now, but like TEs are played out. But like how often do you actually see TEs out in the wild?
right.
Not very often. But on
I
social
mean,
media and forums, they're everywhere.
no, and I think that that's fair. I think that the problem though is that like people, because would you say that this specific like shop or brand or whatever you want to call it, this is very, first of all, this is, I want to say this is very different than like, there are tons of YouTube shops out there that do crazy stuff. They do it on a weekly basis, a fucking monthly basis, whatever it is. But there's never been like what somebody might consider, and I use this word super loosely because I'm gonna get shot in the back of the head for this. Someone might consider a craftsman, I'm doing like quotes, who like makes everything from start to finish and then installs it on the car, because they do make all the kits still, is my understanding. There's some allegations they send it to China to be produced, but I've seen the videos very recently of that assistant that we said hello to, you know, like massaging the kits in their shop in Japan. So I don't know. With all
Yeah,
that
from
said,
my understanding, they still do everything in
yeah,
house. Like,
has there ever been, at least in the car world, something on this scale that exists where two people are doing everything and it's so like publicized? I can't imagine that there's anything like it.
mm, not
yeah.
that I can
I'm
think of
sure if you
offhand.
install a Varus kit, you'd probably have to do some work there too.
You
It's not
definitely
gonna
have to do
fit
some
like
work there.
OEM.
Yeah, no, 100%.
I've seen people put Varus kits on their car. They fit like fucking garbage, and you have to massage the shit out of them.
They
Yeah,
all
Like I
do.
said,
just get to
like
be.
it doesn't matter what we Varus, Veilside, HKS, whatever. They all fit like garbage out of the box.
No, they
Anybody who puts a Rocket Bunny bumper on their car and they're like, oh man, the fitment is great, they're just fucking blind.
yeah. That's a message to the young kids. Hey, it does. This is why I kind of don't give a shit if you buy refs, because they're all gonna fit like shit anyway. To be honest with you, like you're gonna spend a long, long time massaging the kit, no matter what the fuck you bought, because they make molds off of rep or off of a run of fucking kits anyway. So that each mold is slightly different, and a mold can only be used for so many runs, right, Nick? Is that correct?
Yeah, essentially they degrade over time, so eventually you have to get or make new molds. So like unless you get a kit from like the first run of the first set of molds, the quality of the product you get only goes down over time.
Yeah.
So like eventually they just all fit like shit. And sure, the first party ones fit like less shit than the China ones, but they all fit badly in the end.
Yeah, they all do. Which is why you see those videos specifically with RWB of them like working on an individual kit. It's not just like pressed out like out of a factory with original molds and it's easy. Aaron just sent us Pulled up a lovely photo of. I really actually don't like that.
I don't like
What?
the 99s. I don't. I feel like the RWB kit doesn't work on anything but the earlier air-cooled cars.
So these are
Yeah,
the
those are
997s.
991s.
Oh,
Those are
991.
997s.
Isn't that 991?
No, 991 is like
So
last year's model.
it's the 2007
Did they
era
just have a
cars.
991 bumper? Is that what's throwing me off?
I,
Nope, that's a 997 bumper.
it just
Oh.
looks weird because the new cars are wider in general than the older cars, so that probably is adding to it. I'm just saying, okay, either way, for the 2007 era 911s with the RWB kit, you'll find it online. Yeah, I fucking hate that. I'll be honest with you.
Aaron
I-
failed his Porsche exam. You can't get a
I
GT4
did.
for another 10 years.
Fuck.
Yeah, they're gonna
I'm
come to your
embarrassed.
house and strip you of your rights, bro. It's crazy what they do.
You're gonna be on a do not service wall at all the dealerships.
Oh God.
I said that I didn't like the Ferrari. Is it the Roma, the one that's got the weird front grille? And the salesman
Banned.
frowned at me, and I knew that
Banned.
immediately I
Banned
was
for
banned.
Never allowed to buy a Ferrari.
It's you know what I would.
You're not
it's
gonna get
fine.
your 12 cylindry.
Yeah.
You don't like the Roma?
Application.
You like the Roma?
Yeah, that's my fucking
looks
neighbor
like
has
a-
one, and
like
I'm
an
saying when it
off-road
drives
Mercedes.
by, it has its presence. It's like low, it's wide, it's long.
No,
I
man.
Pretty
I
sure the
kinda
Roma's
dig
like
it.
their entry level front engine GT car.
It looks like
Yeah,
a
it's-
bootleg AMG GT.
Oof.
You know what? I don't really like anything Ferrari makes today. And I know that doesn't matter very much because I can't afford a Ferrari, but
Yeah.
I don't really like anything in their current lineup. I don't like the 296 because it's a V6. I understand, very impressive numbers wise, but who the fuck wants a Ferrari with a V6?
Yeah.
Sounds like trash. The Roma is just a car for rich dentists.
It is.
The 12 cylindry is in a way harking too much back to a time that no longer exists. And the price of the options on it is fucking insane. I don't think they make the SF90 anymore. I think that's done. But even that, like those values are tanking like
Yeah.
nobody's business.
No,
And what's their new hypercar that they just unveiled? I forget the name
F90.
of it. Is it the
F90?
F90?
No, sorry, the
It-
F80.
F80.
It-
Okay.
It doesn't do anything for me. And it's
I'm
V6
impressed you can
powered.
name
Like,
so many new Ferraris because I can't even name
who
more than two.
I'm sure I'm sure it's sold out already because it's a Ferrari Halo product and they're sold before they're even announced.
But
But
they're only gonna appreciate, yeah.
like I don't know. I would never pay $5 million for anything with a V6 in it.
Is the F80 going to have a V? Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yes, it's based off their F1 engine, which
Turbocharged
again,
engine.
I'm sure it'll be insanely fast and it'll have all the right numbers. But like,
I don't know that it will.
I don't want a
hard.
V6 in my Halo car.
Why did they put a weird like? Why did they give it sunglasses? What's up with that? They put a weird like black bar on the front.
I don't know.
Because what other one that you mentioned is not the SF90.
The
other
12
one.
cylindry.
The 12 cylindry has that stupid like front bullshit. Is that they're trying to make it look like more angular than it actually is?
That might just, well, the 12 cylindry is harking back to the 365 GTB.
Right.
Because the front end of the 365 GTB looked like that, the Daytona.
Oh, I see it.
So-
Yeah.
That's where the 12 cylindry gets it from. And it's in a way a modern reincarnation of that because that car was a front engine V12. It had the Colombo V12 manual transmission GT car. So
Sure.
I can see where they're doing it with the 12 cylindry. I don't know what they're doing with the F80, but I don't know. If I had
okay.
$5 million to spend on a car, it would not be on a Ferrari F80.
No, I mean I don't either. Funny enough, but I don't like that. Not that Ferrari cares about our opinion, but you should shoot the designer. That's really ugly. Don't like that at all. All right.
They fired Pininfarina and started doing everything in house. Big mistake.
Yeah, huge mistake. The Pininfarina has designed like what 90% of the Ferrari, or almost 100%, isn't it? Like they've been.
I think they did not everything, but most of everything up until. Ooh, I think the 488 might have been the first time they weren't involved.
which is
Hey,
just
Or it
sort
was
of
either
like,
I feel like it's either the 488 or the F8. The F8 was the first one they weren't involved in, but I don't know. Pininfarina and Ferrari is sort of synonymous to me, so I wouldn't want one that's not Pininfarina anyways.
yeah. What's up,
So
Aaron? Sorry?
interesting fact: the guy that designed the Ferrari that you guys are talking about actually designed the Mark 7 Golf.
The Mark 7 Golf?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Okay.
Anthony, basically, you have a Ferrari
So
F80.
I basically have an F. Thank God.
You're just missing 2 cylinders
Yeah, that's all it takes, which
instead
is really
of
pathetic.
8.
Yeah. If I see, and if I RS3 swap it, then I'm only missing 1 cylinder. Think about that. But then it's
There we
only half a
go.
Lambo, so how? That's a very. It's gonna be a stressed relationship. So I don't know. Yeah, they made. Oh wow, they really did make most good Ferraris, didn't they, Pininfarina?
Yes.
Okay, that's depressing. I did see their fucking hypercar at the thing, and it looked pretty good. It looked like what a new Ferrari product should look like. Funny enough, so maybe it's not super new. Pininfarina, I don't know what the fuck it was, but yeah, looked good.
Honestly, I don't know what their hypercar is called.
I have no idea.
I just makes me sound old, but the older I get, the less I care about hypercars.
Yeah, that's definitely a young man's game. Speaking of young man's game, because we've fucking dawdled a bit. Speaking of young man's game and RWB, so that's a bit of a lifestyle brand. It's like spun off into a bit of a lifestyle brand. We bought T-shirts. We're shills.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I think it's cool. I think it's cool because it has a backing to it. There's something to it, and I think that we are all generally in agreement that we don't like Instagram car lifestyle brands because they're lazy. And generally speaking, they piggyback off of, at least in my opinion, at least what I've seen, they piggyback off of other people's built cars. And then they get featured in their videos, magazine, etc. And then for some reason you buy their t-shirt that they charge you $90 for. And it costs them $7. And one Chinese slave labor child's finger or something. So I don't know, man. Oh, it's the Pininfarina Batista. Sorry, that's what it is. And it was red and it looked okay. So, oh yeah, 1900 horsepower. I think it's electric. Who gives a shit? Oh, it's an EV. Yeah, it is an EV. Who cares?
On the topic of lifestyle brands,
Yeah.
I think what's pissing me off is that even JDM tuners, they're pivoting from being parts creators to lifestyle brands. Like Mugen, you know, they discontinued all these S2000 parts, but they keep dropping these boxes for people to store
but
shit, t-shirts and hoodies and stuff. Like ramp up the production of old S2000 parts. Fuck that.
Fucking S2000 owner trying to get his shit. You have to think of it as
Like I
a
know it's
business,
easy money for them, sure,
because
fine,
it's like, okay, so like Mugen brings back their S2000 headers that cost, I don't know if they ever made S2000 headers, but just as an example, $3,200 for a set of long tube headers. How many fucking people are gonna buy $3,200 Mugen headers? Probably like 7.
one out of three.
course of-
One out of three in this room right now. That'll be me.
Okay, but how many people are gonna buy the plastic China crate that says Mugen on the side of it? Hundreds. They're gonna
Thousands.
sell over MSRP.
Yeah, but it's
I just
okay.
think
There's just more money in the
cop-out.
plastic crates and the t-shirts and the hats
Sure.
because it's more
get it.
attainable by more people, and you can walk around and show people this instead of having them to having to bring them over to your car and be like, look, you see that heat tarnished header? Mugen.
Mugen, baby.
Okay, but this is the thing. If everybody can be annoyed at RWB, and I agree, like doing newer cars because that means it opens up their market more. What is it, the 991? Yeah, whatever.
997.
Then
yeah.
99 shit, whatever. 997.
You're both banned from Porsche.
I never wanted one.
Everywhere.
I want one, but I'm not gonna buy one. If we can be mad that RWB is making ugly cars that are more attainable because like it's it makes them more money, and after all they're a business, like then can't we also be angry that companies that were built on the backs of performance parts are like selling to the lowest common denominators? This is the same criticism of every fucking like donut media, like just selling to the lowest common denominator. Those fucking assholes selling the we're banned from donut.
I'm pretty sure
media.
they didn't even get any of the money from
No, they
that
didn't.
either.
No.
They just got to go make their own channels after.
No, they got fired.
Like, Okay, so all right, so we want to be mad at RWB and we want to be mad at Mugen. Okay. But it's like, would you rather Mugen make the plastic boxes and the hats and the t-shirts and then like maybe occasionally bring back, like an S2000 header or intake or something? Or would you rather Mugen just not exist because they don't make any fucking money because people buy China AliExpress headers and airboxes for their cars instead?
No, I get the money part. The thing is, there's no money in old car parts for these discontinued cars. All their development and everything that they get from selling these lifestyle products, they're probably investing into, making FL5 parts and anything that's in the current lineup, because that's definitely where people are spending money. The
Yeah.
market for cars like S2000s and SX and all that stuff, it's very small. So I definitely understand, but it's just,
Okay, but here's a
I don't
question,
know.
genuinely, right?
Some
And
ownership
this is
bias.
it is ownership bias for sure, but this genuinely does bug me because I'm sitting on not purchasing Golf R parts because exhausts start at $3,500. I know you have a Supra and you paid a lot of money for your exhaust, but my
You
car
know
is
what?
half that.
Yes, but my exhaust, I bought it used for a good deal, and then I said it was a made in America product, and they believed it at the border.
Right. This is
So I
pre.
didn't
hey,
have to pay
you don't
for
get
that.
taxed on Japanese car parts, by the way.
Do you not?
No,
You'll
sorry,
still, you'll,
you don't get customs charge on Japanese car parts, but you do pay taxes.
Huh.
I didn't pay shit.
Well, either way.
I just paid for the cost of the shipping and the. There would have been customs fees.
Right.
I think because it's private sale. I
But
don't know. I don't really
NAFTA.
understand how it works. I just know we don't have NAFTA anymore. We haven't had
Yeah.
NAFTA since like
Because
first
for my
sometime
Olins, I
during
didn't
Donald
pay any
Trump's
customs
first
for
term.
it. It was just tax.
Yeah, you can sometimes get away with it. It depends on what it is. But okay, all I'm trying to say is there are cars that like there are companies too, like fucking Remus or whatever. The exhaust is like we're speaking in US dollars so that we're clear. The exhaust is like $5,000 or some crazy shit like that for a car that is now worth 30 grand. That's not acceptable. And then I look at these companies like Mugen, who have heritage and whatever, and all the things that you guys get horny about. And then they sell exhausts for way too much money, right? And then they go, oh, we have to sell China crate bins made by Ling Ling so that we can keep the lights on here. Meanwhile, if they drop the price of the shit they make and made it more available to the market and not have to custom order it, and then it's folded 1,000 times in the fires of Mount Fuji, then we could actually have parts for cheap, and they could keep the lights on and they'd sell en masse, but they don't want to do that.
But they can't do that because it's made by
because that
tiny little
Mugen-
Japanese hands and
It's
it's made of
because that
titanium.
Mugen badge stands for something.
Does it?
It's because Mr. fucking Mugen himself at one point was hand welding these exhaust manifolds in a shed behind his house.
It goes
I
back to
And they need to
nostalgia.
stay as close to that
Heritage.
heritage as possible.
Right, heaven forbid
And
they...
people with S2000s care about that a lot because Aaron's in their group chats.
Right.
And that matters to them. That doesn't matter to Golf R owners because Golf Rs are still too new.
Right. I just don't... Okay, so then I can be mad at Remus for having a $5,000 exhaust is what you're telling me. You're giving me
You
permission?
can be mad at Remus for having a 5. I don't like a lot of the prices of super parts. I wanted to get a Sard catback for mine, and I was quoted like $6,400, and I was
Huh.
like, "Fuck that!"
Dude, a catback for a Golf R is $5,000. Are you kidding me?
Okay, I may
Bro,
have
it's
exaggerated,
the
but
Euro,
I'm looking...
it's the Euro badging. Once you put a Euro badge on something, prices go up.
Okay, catback system from Remus. I'm looking at it right now in Canadian dollars. It said, yeah, $4,000. Sorry. So okay, it's 4, not 5. That's still too much money for a car that's now worth 30 grand.
Man, what the fuck is a Remus? Like,
It's
there's
a
no heritage
legitimate
with that.
European company. You know, okay.
For-
One thing. This
Good
is
German tuning brand.
yeah, and they
Stick with Magnafo.
And this is the thing. The Type S exhaust that is it Magnaflow or one of those American
Borla.
companies.
Borla.
Yeah,
That's what it is,
Borla.
Type S.
Like it's still like over 3 grand, which like it's a catback. Like
oh my god.
That's crazy. And maybe this is just me being broke. I acknowledge that. But the GTI version of that exhaust is $1,600. Like, it's not that different. The GTI also has an active exhaust. Like, what? Fuck you. Like, I don't understand. So it's more tips. You're right. I'm sorry. It's more tips. Fuck.
I think my biggest gripe with exhausts is like companies that'll charge like $2,400 for like a titanium straight pipe, like no muffler, no resonator,
Yeah.
just some welded tube.
I don't understand
And
that.
and then they like burn the tip at the end, so you have a blue tip, and now it's $2,300.
If you did that in a shed, they would call you a racer. But if you pay
Well,
for the
no,
privilege,
because if I did it in a shed, but I gave it like a Japanese or European sounding name, now it's special.
ugh,
And that's what lifestyle brands are.
right? Thank
Do you
for
guys
the
like
pivot.
that look? The
What?
that burnt titanium look? Are you guys still
It feels very
About
late
that?
2010, like 2019 era type styling.
I don't mind it. I I mean the Sard exhaust I wanted had the burnt inner tips. It was I don't know if I can find a picture of it.
I know what you're
This thing-
talking about.
This
With the
you sent
internet's
me an
better.
AliExpress exhaust.
But that's within your budget. It's for a car.
Thanks. You know what? It's funny actually. A lot of stuff is coming out of China now anyway. It doesn't matter.
Most
Yeah.
Supra parts are just AliExpress resold.
So, okay, genuinely, like, and I mean this with malice and hatred. Why is it that if I bought this exhaust, I would be like out in the streets being shot, but if I pay someone who bought that exhaust and then stamped their name on it, now I'm legit? Like, what is this thing? Because it doesn't make sense to me.
Well, it's hard to explain because if you bought this exhaust from AliExpress and you would be shot in the street, it's not necessarily that like I'm sure tons of Golf R parts shops are reselling AliExpress exhausts
100%.
these days. Like you can't convince me otherwise with the amount of shit that's out there. But it's like for some reason on some platforms, and it's not all platforms, having the one small Japanese or German or Italian man making it for some reason matters.
Okay, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know why. I don't necessarily agree with it.
Okay, if they weren't
Aaron has
rebadging
an
products,
S2000, so he agrees with it.
yeah, Aaron definitely agrees with it. We know that. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I just think that it's kind of crazy, and I just can't understand it personally because
You should go for this. Like $600.
what do you mean
I'll pitch in
$600?
$100.
It's
you know?
$1,100.
Is it?
It
I
is-
would
it's-
buy it now.
1,000
live.
No. I'm talking about the AliExpress one.
It's $680. It's $680 to ship it. So
yeah, fuck. It's because I'm
it's
looking at
like-
USD.
by the time it gets here, it's a $2,000 catback.
It is a $2,000 catback at that point, and
So
then
it's
better off.
basically in line with the lower end legitimate catbacks.
I might as well. They wouldn't let me into the Golf Art group on Facebook because I didn't have a picture on my profile or something. So maybe one day I'll enter. One day I'll break in.
You're probably
but,
better off anyways.
I just wanted to buy an
Fucking
exhaust,
cut the
man.
muffler off.
Dude, people cut the resonator off and it doesn't sound half bad, but I don't want to actually cut an exhaust. I want a legitimate exhaust. This is me growing up, because me 7 years ago, I would have cut the shit out of that resonator. So, hey.
Oh, boom! Here, there's
Yeah,
this
did
one
on
in
the PRC
Kijiji,
with
an
muffler
AWE switch path exhaust, $1,200.
AWE switch path.
Yeah, there's an
Is
AWE
that where it just becomes a
Touring.
fucking straight pipe?
I
Because
mean,
it's
knowing
like valved.
AWE, yes. The exhaust AWE makes for the Supra, you have two options. You have straight pipe dual exit or dual exit with small resonators.
Yeah, here, look, check out this picture. This is the exhaust. So it's into a muffler or straight pipe.
Ooh.
There's no way that sounds good, right?
No,
No,
you,
not with
and
that
like
tiny ass
I'm
muffler.
sorry to say it, but it's just because the EA 888 just sounds like shit.
Ugh, great. Well, either way,
It's a great motor. It just sounds like shit.
it's a turbo too. It's always gonna sound like shit. Well, I guess I mean SR20s kind of sound like shit too.
It's, you know what it is? It's ever since like direct injection became sort of the mainstream thing, all turbo four cylinders sound the same and they all sound like shit. They don't really have any sort of character or personality to them anymore. Like if you go listen to like old 4G 63s out of Evos,
Yeah.
EJ 207s, the ones that came with equal length headers, 3S GTEs, SR20s, whatever, they just sound better and characterful.
I guess.
And because they ran more inefficiently, you got natural crackles and pops and bangs that modern turbo engines, turbo fours anyway, I think just don't really replicate very well.
Yeah. Well, we could switch off my general woes with finding an exhaust that's not going to sound like shit. Lifestyle brands. Thanks, guys. Good pep talk. My car's always going to sound like shit. I'm going to pay for the privilege. That's lovely. I need to sell it now. So we had some victims that we wanted to talk about because I have very specific issue with some of them. So here we go to get blacklisted. If anybody ever gave a shit about what we have to say, here we go to get blacklisted in the future. I don't understand companies. Let's start with Night Runner International, who people for some reason respect. Don't know why. It's because they got a cool logo. Is that all it is? Is that all it takes? Because
It is. I've been saying, like, if we just slap a cool logo on some t-shirts and hats and put like a little Japanese slogan or something in there, like we could be the next Night Runners International.
Yeah, like, I don't really know why they're so popular. They don't make. The guy just posts on Instagram. He has some cool merch. It's not like he's making any YouTube content, but people buy his shit.
yeah,
It's interesting.
I don't really get it. I mean, this is the thing, right? Maybe I'm old. I'm definitely
Maybe I'm
old.
not the right person to answer because I don't own any of their merch. Well, actually, I have their license plate bracket because I wanted something that was JDM inspired with the tilt,
Right.
and they were the only one that made it. So I got that, but like their clothing
mean,
and things like that.
That license plate bracket came way later, right? Like that's not like they make license plate brackets. That's their thing, and they started making it like all they do is like merch. That's all they do, right? And then they do that classic tactic of like starving their audience of that merch, so that they drop it in like waves, and then everybody buys it up.
Well, they
because
used to be like, I feel like, I swear they used to be like invite or something.
Invite to what?
Like, you had to get like an invite to access their drops, and then you could buy their items.
Is this just it's just exclusivity? That's all it is.
It's just extra exclusivity.
Oh, that's probably what it is.
Like,
yeah, it's limited.
Like you go to their website and it
releases.
would be like, you got to enter the password before you can see the stuff.
Oh my god. Is this all it takes? Is this what idiots buy? You're fucking idiots. And if you're listening, you're an idiot. Yeah, fuck you. Like, just, why are you giving people, like, it's not anything. Aren't they from, like, Vancouver or something?
Yeah, they're
Pretty sure
from
they're
Vancouver.
Canadian, yes.
Oh,
I mean, support Canadians. Their design just don't do anything for me.
I just get tired of, this is me as an Arab saying this. I sure get tired of people peddling Japanese culture who may or may not be Japanese. Do you know what I mean? Because it's all just fucking like, and I'm not a guy who actually gives a shit about like culture vultures. I genuinely don't care. I don't think you have ownership of it, but it's getting kind of tiresome that everything is JDM inspired. When are we going to get German inspired? Oh, I think we got that.
42. We don't need that again.
I think we still have that, but they're labeled as hate groups. Okay. You know what? Forget it. I don't know. Is there no car? This is okay. So genuine question, because it feels like there's no car culture other than Japanese car culture. Do you know what I mean? Like, it feels like everything is Japanese.
Go to a Kia or Hyundai meet and you'll understand why.
And you got the classic muscle car guys too.
Those guys, they're They're fun to look at.
What, the
I
people or the
sometimes go
cars?
to like muscle car shows just to people watch because they're really interesting.
One of the
Hey,
Hyundai
maybe
guys.
this is our opportunity to get rich. Maybe we should make a like a boomer targeted lifestyle brand.
What
Like
would
the
that
Eddie
be?
Bauer of car merch.
But do boomers like
Eddie Bauer
respond?
is there used to be a Ford Explorer Eddie Bauer edition.
Yeah,
Is
we
there
gotta bring it
really?
back.
That's no, but that's
Yeah.
Harley Davidson. That's Harley Davidson edition. That's what you're talking about. That
No,
is
there used to
boomer
be a
car culture.
Ford Explorer Eddie Bauer edition.
No,
My
no, I
uncle
just
had it.
mean, yeah, no, I'm just mean that like what Aaron is saying that like, oh, we should profit. They already do it. It's Harley Davidson. That's the modern one.
You're right. That like modern boomer merch is Harley Davidson, or like GM has a fucking ton of Corvette merch.
Or
I need an
Mopar.
NRI for domestic cars. What would we even call it? Just day hiker.
um, no, I don't
Sunday
think so.
driver.
Sunday drive.
Sunday driver. Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't think. I don't think boomers respond to this like exclusivity bullshit. I don't think they respond to it at
No,
all.
it's really, and I'm calling out a generation here, but it's really a Gen Z thing.
I think like people who are
I
like
feel like
our age do it too, though.
it's the generation that falls for the social media marketing the most. It's like late millennials, Gen Z, and I don't know what the fuck comes after Gen Z. I've stopped keeping track.
You know, it's
Well, like
funny.
Anthony, from your
Yeah.
perspective as a designer,
People
what do
that
you
used to
think
sign up
about?
for Fat Farm.
Oh my
If
God,
you
I haven't
don't
heard
remember
brand in
what that
so
is,
long.
you're too old, too young to be listening.
Same type of people.
Sorry, what's up, Aaron?
So I was asking, as a designer, when you look at these guys' design, do you feel like it's anything
No.
unique?
No.
Are you inspired by it?
No. Okay. I want to like. It's a bit of a. I'm gonna try to keep it very short, but like okay. So I grew up in dealerships. It's a very different experience. We've talked about this, but like with Nick, he was like in auto body shops, or sorry, mechanic shops. He was there with his family. For me, it was the sales floor because my family, my mother and my father both worked at the same relatively high end dealership. So like I've been through my life and through my work now, like I'm very involved in like what you see when you get into a dealership has always been in my face, and now I'm literally involved in it like on a daily basis. So cars and car culture, we were fucked from the start. But I will say, I do, to keep it short, I do qualify designers in different ways. I've got so people who make interesting things that are not really feasibly possible, I like to call them dreamers. So if you know that something isn't going to work when you actually produce it and make it a real poster or whatever for a variety of reasons, but you ignore it and charge forward and show a client something that looks amazing but will have so many technical problems when you get to the end that somebody else has to deal with, you're an asshole and I call you a dreamer. If you are someone who makes shit that like you can know that like defies any convention of what someone would actually want, but for some reason it gets to market, like it's got like kind of the way that YouTube was like the place where, I don't know, like if you couldn't really get a TV like pilot, you went to YouTube to make your content, right? We didn't really want to reach there, and a lot of stuff was okay and a lot of it was garbage. Same thing with design. If you can't get a legitimate brand to pick you up, or if you can't be a designer that like works with a legitimate brand, I am of the belief personally that, and then you go to Instagram to be clear, and then you just peddle it like this. I'm of the belief that you're not a very good designer, because if you can't navigate roadblocks, then like if you're not good at making people happy and proving that your stuff is good and you have to go independently, sometimes it's great. And sometimes I think it's just not that inspired. And I don't think that blocky font that says Night Runner is that fucking interesting. I just don't. And like, also like I'm this is also me being annoyed because to get to Curbrash, which amazingly is not taken, we all started fucking years ago trying to figure that out, which we never agreed with. And then I just went, no, you know what? It is Curbrash. And so I bought the domain and I made a logo, and then I made a different logo later, and this logo is better. But like, it's not that inspired. I also don't like modern clothing design because it's a name. It's a name in a simple font. That's all it is. and then they stick it on a shirt and they go, "Thank you, sir. That'll be $175." And I don't respect that.
From a non-designer's perspective, a lot of it just looks very generic and phoned in and just minimalist styling, which is what's popular right now. And
Yeah.
they just have whatever generic buzzwords fit the brand image they're trying to make, whether it be JDM inspired, Euro inspired, old DTM or JGTC stuff. It just all sort of looks very cookie cutter and generic. And
Yeah.
I don't know, like I've seen and felt items made by these lifestyle brands, and like not just Night Runner, I'm not just going to single them out, but it's like I it just doesn't feel like a quality item that I'd pay $150 for. It feels like a $20 item that I'm paying $150 for.
Yeah, agreed. I feel like these guys also take themselves way too seriously for what they're producing and selling.
Yeah, no, I generally agree.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
I
and I
feel like a lot of these brands, and this is probably my own personal bias coming into it, but a lot of the people that run these brands have that are doing like, car theme or build inspired, JDM inspired, whatever. I feel like most of them have never turned a wrench in their life more than
no.
doing an oil change.
No, they definitely haven't. I've met. Okay, so here's a very specific story. I went. It might even be him. Who knows? I went to a friend of mine, and this is a great shirt. We'll talk about this after. A friend of mine was hiring a designer. She said, "Hey, she worked at an agency. We worked at different agencies, and she said, "Hey, you're one of the better designers I know. I think you have a decent eye for seeing like." We're going to like basically a fair of these kids who are graduating school. We want to hire a junior, and we would really, really like your opinion because you could be helpful in actually hiring someone. I said, okay, fantastic. So we went to downtown. I looked at all this kid's stuff, and I arrived on one kid who basically made shit that looked exactly like everything NRI makes, like that theme of like it's automotive, it's like outline of car, it's like this, and I just didn't have the heart to tell him I fucking hated it, but like she was like, "Oh, this is cool," and I was like, "Walk away," because this is a person who very specifically knows exactly what they want to do, and they're not capable of revision. And I believe that wholeheartedly. Every single Instagram designer, people like NRI, they're gonna do what they want to do, right? They're gonna build what they want to build, and that's fine. And for some reason, they have come. It's like every fucking. Why is NRI? Sorry, this isn't. Why is NRI every fucking? It's like a shirt that every Vietnamese guy at a bubble tea shop would wear, and it fucking annoys me. Like it's like that's what the style is. It's Asian guy hanging out in parking lot attire. That's it.
Oof, that's very specific.
It could okay. Could be Asian girl hanging out in parking lot. I don't judge. I do judge, but I don't judge. I don't know. I just don't see
It's
inspiration.
probably the
in
type
any
of
of it.
guy who's into that scene, right? Which is the
Sure.
Asian guy that hangs out at the bubble tea shop. Probably has a car, Japanese car,
Yeah.
and he
It
probably
could not have a
follows
Jap. It
NRI.
could be a Golf R owner actually.
Could be.
I'm
A
just I
lot
don't
of
know.
a lot of this stuff just looks like, I don't know. A lot of it looks like something that you would just buy off of like Redbubble, but they graduated from Redbubble and got their
Yeah,
own name and a little bit of clout.
that's exactly what it looks like.
That's
100%.
how I feel about most lifestyle brands.
Fully. I feel like they piggyback off of other people, and with that, I want to pivot to another lifestyle brand that I really don't like, which is the Lowdown, which you guys have seen lately. I saw them. This is me being a bit of a hipster. I saw them years and years ago when their videos used to get like 1,000 views, and I thought that it was slightly cool until I realized by the end that they were peddling their fucking fall winter collection or something, and I'm like, it's just a logo slapped on shit you didn't design. You didn't make those pants or that sweater. You ordered it from China. Like it's not anything. And this is even they're a fucking great example of like like profiting off of other people's builds. Like everything they shoot like is just like it just seems like it's
Yeah,
somebody
all of their
else's
video,
build.
it's someone else's car, and they
Yeah.
just make the content around it. Which, like, the videos are great. Not
No, they're
knocking the
cool.
videos. One of the videos.
They're very cool. It just bugs me that you can launch a brand that is entirely like showcasing other people's shit. Like if this was any other industry where we're like, oh yeah, this guy basically just comes in and like takes photos of somebody else's hard work and then profits off of it, people would be upset about it. They wouldn't like that. But for some reason, we're cool with this. And hold on, and I want to finish. I didn't finish that earlier story, but I just want to say, if anybody questions if I am a legitimate designer with actual, first of all, I worked at design firms for the past 10 years, and I currently have clients like VW, Audi, and BMW. So I don't want to fucking hear it. Okay, I don't want to fucking hear it, jackass. I'm sorry. You probably didn't say anything negative about me. I'm sorry. Anyway, I just don't see it with these people. And it just seems like someone who needed to go their own way to build something. And I think if you can't, Aaron, you have employees.
Sure.
Okay, thank you for confirming that. If somebody like couldn't follow instruction or like meet like something reasonable that makes everybody happy, they wouldn't be a bad employee. And if they could only function in an environment where they could do everything they wanted to themselves with no oversight, that would be like someone who's not capable of functioning in the real world. But for some reason, they gain success on their own. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense? Am I crazy?
Fair enough. They've found their niche, their target audience. You know, it pays their bills.
Sure. So
But yeah, I mean, I agree. Some of their designs aren't inspiring, and it's very low effort.
Like I always say, I respect the hustle. I don't care for the product.
Yeah, that's fair. We got to start fucking
make your
showing.
money, but I don't like the product's trash.
I hate the premise of the lowdown too, right? They create content on the purpose to sell merch.
Yeah.
It's not really a fashion brand. It's kind of defeats the purpose of
It's
fashion.
amazingly
like,
shot.
Is it considered fashion, or like what are they trying to be?
It's street fashion, like street apparel. That's what they call it. So I look, I want to be very clear. The videos that are produced are fantastic, and whoever is responsible for them, that whole team, fucking hats off. They are beautiful. But if all of it is in service of selling you Redbubble merch, basically, kind of fucking feels like a slap in the face.
It's just the stepping stone of getting your cookie cutter shit into Zoomies.
Pretty much. I mean, I think they actually probably make more money not having it in Zoomies. I think that's the annoying thing. Like they print it and they sell it and that's it. I don't know, man. I don't get it. I don't get it.
I mean, like if I had to put my opinion of lifestyle brands into like one or two sentences, if I go to a meet and it's full of people wearing lifestyle brand clothing, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Because there is nothing there that is worth my time.
I agree. I think that that's the reality, right? Is that people like this peddle an idea, right? Of like the kind of people that are members of their club. And then you go to a meet and it's full of dudes with like slammed FRSs that they bought for $8,000 and like a blender or something. And then they're wearing the same merch and you're like, they're like, I'm part of the club. And you're like, sweet. I don't want to be a part of this club.
Like I'd genuinely much rather pay the same premium to get like a Mugen sweater or like an RS Watanabe jacket. I don't fucking know, because at least like yeah, it's merch, but at least those brands have like done and built things.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Rather than like, you know, here's a picture off of Google Images of an old Audi DTM car slapped on a t-shirt with the year 1993 at the top of it.
Yeah.
Again, you care about the heritage.
I do care a little bit. I do care about the heritage because sometimes it matters.
It matters, but this is the thing. If you're buying a product and it's a reasonable price, then heritage is not really in the question because you're like, oh, that's cool. I'd spend that much money on it. It's worth its material, right? But like, yeah, if you have fucking hair, if you're like, I'm buying a Mugen shirt, that's pretty cool. Yeah. The Lowdown is selling a $149 hoodie.
So is Night Runners.
Okay, fuck them both then. Great. This is ridiculous.
Actually, Night Runners had one that was $174.
Oh, you're fucking killing me.
But yeah, looking at the patina items, like they copied the Polo Bear, and they put what's that guy that wears green? the drifting guy that drives the
Eiichi
86.
Tsuchiya?
Yeah. So you turn him into like a bear that looks like the
Oh,
polo
I see it.
bear. Just complete
Yeah.
copyright infringement. Like
No, it's
I guess it's
derivative. Don't you understand?
man.
There's nothing original. I know. Okay, so I know people who have Instagram brands that are like stickers and they're like smut, like anime smut, and they sell like crazy, and it's all just stolen content anyway. So like this is what they do. This is the formula. You do drops. You do content. Like look at that. That shirt that I linked is just for some reason Heat, the movie Heat, which is a great movie, but like
It is a great.
and on the back it's just like a enormous quote, the don't let yourself get attached to things, but it's like the whole look at it, it's like between your like what the fuck is that? If you sent that can you imagine if a professional designer sent that to me? I'd be
That
like, you
looks
should.
like something I think would be cool when I was like 13,
Yes.
and I
I think
thought
we've just
Scarface
aged out
was
of
the
this.
shit.
Yeah.
Dude, no, but like the front, I don't think it's something they should be selling, but the front's okay. I mean, it's a graphic tee, I'm not into them anymore, but like the back is just like a Harry Potter font, and they like wrote out like a 3 lines of look at what the fuck is going on. And then I'm crazy and I'm out of touch and I'm old, but no, they can make what's his name again? Fuck.
I can't pronounce it. That's why I didn't say it.
Tsuchiya? Yeah, there you go. You make a bear out of him, and that's fucking that's cool. That's sweet. I don't know. I don't get it. It's all derivative bullshit.
Yeah, I think Nick said it perfectly. You know, if I was 13, I probably think this shit's pretty fire, but like, you know, as a 30-year-old guy, no.
Why are 13-year-olds stealing their mom's credit card then? Because this is stupid. All right, whatever. And then there's Dogfight. I don't really like it.
I feel like they at least have some legitimacy behind them.
Yeah. No, they do.
Yeah,
Like they do some legitimate coverage. As far as I know, they have some like legitimate, like really cool builds going on.
Sure. They also have I guess they make a steering wheel, but that could just be their logo stamped on a steering wheel.
They just partner with whoever actually manufactures the steering. It's the same thing.
Right.
Like they have partnership with some bride, or with bride. I feel it is. I don't know if bride or brid is the right way to say it. I'm never really sure. I always thought it was bride.
Right.
But they have some like branded seats. I think Zetas.
Yeah, I see them. They're like pretty expensive. They've got Zetas, Ziegs, and Zero MS. These are weird names. I never looked at seat names.
I mean,
yeah,
the price is pretty fair for the course for brides.
Yeah, or Brids. They make some stuff, I guess. I don't they have like a quick release? They also it's just a branded with whatever brand that like.
It's probably like a work spell.
Yeah.
Yo, this shit's exactly like NRI. I feel like NRI probably was influenced by this brand.
I believe it. I like
Dogfight.
look at the fonts; they all look the same. Like it's the
Yeah.
NRI, it's a bit taller, but like yeah. But if you look at the like the fucking banners and shit, it really does look the same. Who knows?
Yeah,
Could be the same guy.
at least Dogfight has they have a book that covers
Well, yeah, they
content
actually do
that
cover
they've
it.
shot for the racing stuff. Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, Dogfight, you get a pass. So it's just mostly the lowdown patina and NRI that fucking boil my blood. You know what? Do we just fucking sell out and just fucking make a $700 sweater because exclusivity is all that matters?
Insane. We should do.
I'll make it myself if I
We
can sell it for
designed
700.
we designed the logo, and I still have the design saved.
Right. I feel like. Yeah. Well, we'll see. Maybe
I'll
we
pick
should.
the cotton myself. How's that for heritage?
How's that for heritage? That's pretty. It's fucking no. That's artisan made, artisan crafted.
That's right.
I mean, we could have
As
some
long
nice
as you
shit.
grow it behind your house and build it and like sew it in the shed, it's legit.
I suppose so.
Put handcrafted by Aaron on the tag.
Ooh,
Dude.
yes, made by Aaron.
It's like the BMW engines, right? Is it the BMW engines where they sign the name of the technician?
You're thinking of AMG.
AMG, yes, the AMG engines.
And I think at least, well, it's technically not in production anymore, but the GTR used to get an engine plaque by the Takumi that
Uh,
assembled the engine.
well, hey, we're gonna get one. We're gonna get a little like the fucking stitch in, and it's gonna say hand woven by Aaron, and then people are gonna lose their fucking mind. They're gonna spend $79.
Everybody that buys a lot of these expensive like Varus and stuff, I implore them to actually look at where these parts are made, because if you go look at what like the Varus factory looks like, or like
Yeah.
Voltex, it's like
Yeah.
Asha's worst nightmare.
Yeah.
Just
It.
people working with like carbon fiber and resin, no masks, no filtration, no fans,
I love it.
just inhaling straight fumes and particles.
I'm actually super into that. That's fucking. It's not OSHA violations. It's what OSHA was made for. Like that's just OSHA. I don't know, man. I just you guys, and by you guys I mean all one of you. Like just don't buy from these fucking brands, man. Like just you look. I promise you, in like a couple years, you're gonna look back on this and be like, damn, I wish I still had the like $500 from that NRI order I made. Like it's way too much money for what it is. If we ever did stuff, it would not be this much money.
You mean after the hoodie disintegrates in the wash?
Yeah. After the fucking thinnest hoodie they could find on Vistaprint disintegrates in the wash, yeah, I'm not. I promise, if we ever did stuff like this, it would be cheap. It would be cheap, and there would be no drops. It would just be fucking available. Stupid. I can't promise that, actually. They're gonna strong arm me. I can't promise that. But if we did do it, I promise it was Aaron and Nick's idea.
Everyone else is gonna do it. Like,
Everybody else is gonna do it, but don't you want to hold yourself to a higher standard? Nick, couldn't you have cut your springs instead of buying coils?
I mean, like, yeah, I want to hold myself to a higher standard, but I want to do it selectively. Like,
Oh,
do I want to
okay.
hold myself to a higher standard, or do I want a GT3 RS? Kind of want a GT3 RS.
Okay.
I'm trying to see, where do they make their stuff? If it's made in North America, fine.
No,
I
it's
guess
not.
that's sort of.
Most
You
of
know
this
it's not.
stuff is definitely like bulk import clothing from China with prints or embroidery on it.
It is 100%, 1,000,000% even.
Yeah, they don't list where it's made, so I'm gonna assume that it's not in Canada.
You have to assume China. I hope,
It is definitely like China or Indonesia
or Malaysia.
or
It's
Malaysia.
oh yeah, look, NRI, all of NRI's fucking plate frame stuff is photographed in BC. So
Well, yeah, they're based out of BC, so that's where the photographs are going to
yeah,
come
that
from.
tracks. I would really love a world where after we talk all this shit about Night Runner, I actually know the designer and I fucking start a feud with him. That would be really cool. I would really just love that.
Well, you have his name now. You can go message him on Instagram.
Do I?
Yeah.
What's his name? What's his address?
Reggie
Chat.
something.
Oh, that.
You know,
okay,
I used to follow him, and he just kept posting these lifestyle things of his day, and I got sick of it. I wanted to see cool car content.
Yeah.
And
I
he would
agree
take
with you.
videos of himself working out at the gym. Like, bro, I'm not trying to watch some overweight middle-aged Asian guy sweating his balls off on a treadmill.
Throwing straight fucking shade.
Dude, that's every single one of these guys. Like every single, like, and that's fine. But like, it's just they peddle. Oh shit! I just knocked the mic. They peddle like a fucking an idea, right? And just like this fucking like, they're a trendsetter. They're Mr. International. They have so many
Yeah,
cars in their
bro.
7-car garage, and then it's like just some guy named David.
Just the fact that he was willing to take a video of himself working out, being all sweaty and shit, just shows that he's way in over his head. Like, he is way too overconfident with his brand.
Yeah.
Takes himself
I
too
mean, if you're
seriously.
putting it on the brand channel, yeah. Because like normally, like if you start a brand and it gets big enough, you generally want to like separate it from
Okay, fine. This was not his personal one, but still.
your
come on.
lifestyle.
But
But I see where you're coming from.
Stick to the
I'm in
car content.
agreement.
I just don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like them.
Well, it's an air of like self-importance, right? It's like, oh, people like my
Yeah.
shit so much, they want to know what I'm doing.
Dude, but this is what even further bugs me is it's like
Making
it's like
moves,
one
bro.
design.
Coming soon.
Oh god, coming soon. Ah! The fucking and NRI has a folding crate box as if the Mugen one wasn't bad enough. The NRI one exists too.
When did this folding crate box trend like come about?
I don't
It
know,
just
but
like
it's $130.
one day it just fucking boom. Every
Is it
fucking
on
brand started
AliExpress?
pushing them out.
Yes, they're just fucking folding crate boxes with
People lose their shit
stickers
over it,
on them,
man.
essentially.
I just don't. Yeah, no, they are. I just don't understand. Like, what? Why do people get so like? Are we? Am I stupid or are they stupid? That's my question.
Thank you. Are we the only rational people here? These guys
I
freaking
feel
out over
like in a
which
way we're
boxes they
stupid
get.
because we're not doing this too.
No, okay,
Maybe.
fine. From that
Fuck.
perspective, maybe we're
We
stupid.
could all be in Lambos right now.
It could. We could all be taking videos of us working out of the gym.
We could.
We could. That's okay. Like, this is just three old men circling the fucking drain. Is basically what it boils down to because we don't understand
Yeah,
anymore and
we're
confused.
just jaded old enthusiasts anymore, and we're
You know what? Fucking hold on. Stop. What? Sorry.
complaining and recording.
I'm just gonna send. Just gonna show you this. So in this photo, to add I hate when people do this. To add legitimacy, right? The NRI box is placed in front of the Nismo, the HKS, and the other HKS, and whatever that is in the back, the Mugen. Like to add legitimacy, and that's
Do you
infuriating.
ever notice how they all look the same, almost like
They
all
are
from
the same
factory?
They do come from the same factory. All I have to do is print a stupid thing in a funky font, and I get away with it. They should be in prison. That's what it boils down to. You should be in prison. This is 75 cents of plastic, and Ling Ling's finger. That's what it is. 75 cents.
How much do they have it up for? What are they asking for
Injection
this?
You want to guess? Let's play this game. Guess how much do you?
$140.
For like
Little
70,
lower.
75. Oh,
No,
lower?
higher. It's lower than 140.
125.
131.
131 for that box?
Look how big that box is. Look at that fucking M3. Look how big that box
You're
is.
fucking kidding me. Is it sold out?
Yes.
Is
Holy
it sold out or is
shit.
it coming soon?
No, it's sold out.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Okay,
This
it's
is why we're in a recession.
dude. Boxes are sold individually. The box is 50 centimeters by like 30 centimeters. It's not. It's this big. Like,
So it can hold like some pencils and pens.
dude,
No,
am I
50
stupid?
centimeters? That's pretty.
No,
That's
it can
sizable.
hold
It's like a recycling
like
bin.
it can maybe
What
hold some
of
tools.
substance are you putting in a 50 by 30 box?
Detailing
Plastic
equipment,
storage box. Something
detailing
that
stuff.
generally doesn't have a lot of structural rigidity aside from around the corners so they can be stacked.
So you've seen in my trunk that I have like a little organizer thing to hold all my little sprays and everything, and it's been convenient
Yes.
because you've been like, "Do you have it?" And I'm like, "Yes, I do." But like, I didn't. That was $30, and that's made out of like a quilted fabric thing, right? Not plastic. So
So for $100 less than the one you're looking at right now,
yes,
it serves the exact same purpose and function, but it's just not made out of injection molded plastic from China with some Japanese letters stuck on top of it.
I'm not gonna do it, and if I ever did, kill me. But I almost want to buy one just to see if that's actually printed on the box or if that's a sticker.
I feel like it's probably printed on the box. Like they get them from the supplier, white labeled with their logo on it.
Who is supplying them with this? I really want to find it.
know.
Your
man,
your
there's-
cousin, man. I don't know.
My
Like,
cousin
Bro,
Tony.
like, look at all
My
the
cousin
weird
Tony.
shit that's on AliExpress, and you're surprised that there's a company out there selling white label plastic stackable storage boxes. Like that's
dude, I guarantee that shit is not more than a few dollars. Like, and people are stupid enough, and I mean stupid enough. If you own one, fuck you. Like, to buy this, you worked. Do you know how hard you worked to make $131, and you gave it to this guy who works out and records it on Instagram? Can you get some self-respect? I'm tired of seeing you like this, man. Fuck me. I could understand. Look, genuinely, I could understand if you got a box from like, I don't agree with it, but I'm cheap. But like, you got one from like Raze. I know that they make them. Like fucking HKS makes them. Okay, these are legitimate. Nismo, if you own a fucking GTR or something, go crazy. This
they're
is a
getting them from
guy.
the same supplier.
They are getting them from the same supplier, and I know that the other ones are cheaper. That's what fucks me up. Crazy ass. I don't get it.
Yeah,
We're
you're
gonna
right.
find the
It's
supplier.
literally just some guy. He's just laughing on his way to the bank.
Dude.
These losers buying.
That's what
his
most of these lifestyle
shitty-
brands are.
This dude wakes up at fucking
Oh,
8
man.
p.m. every day, and we live lives and work. What's wrong with us? You know what? You're never gonna know it, but there will be a shill brand out there, and it'll be secretly us because it's not gonna be Curbrash.
Fuck.
Maybe one day we'll make a
You
shirt
gotta,
so that one person can buy it.
We have the brand name
I mean,
coming
you just
soon.
gotta play that
Coming.
social media
Big
game.
thing.
Car shows near you
big things coming soon, bro. Big things coming soon.
soon.
I would just, if we ever do that and we do make money, you feel if this is an invite to slap me. We might still do it, but slap me. Stupid. Oh, but our name isn't Japanese, so we didn't get away with it. These guys, they pretend that they're Japanese or something, and then they can get away with it. So.
Yeah, so
Oh,
we
well.
just need to be legitimate. So instead of doing it in Japanese, we'll do it in Arabic.
Oh, dude, with the fucking rise of Habibis at the fucking local car meet, it might not be a bad idea.
Boxes?
Habibi stamp boxes would be crazy. I wouldn't do it.
God.
I'm over. Okay, maybe we can end on this, but
The
I'm
problem,
over it.
Habibis, is it's not associated with quality.
No,
So,
it's not. It's
not gonna
associated
go
with
well.
carpet sales and like Drakkar Noir bottles, as we've just discussed. He owns a nightclub but he's like upside down on his leased Maserati for sure, right? Like he he has to be.
The definition of Habibi.
Yeah, that if you look him up, it's like leased Maserati. He blacked out the tail lights. He got into an accident, and insurance wouldn't pay for it because he blacked out the tail lights. So now it's just kind of held together by black tape. And then when people ask him about it, he goes, "Oh yeah, no, I will get fixed very soon, just like body shop backed up." And reality is he has no money because it's all invested, and I don't know. It's like I know everything about him, and I just fucking hate him.
It's because he's a miracle worker, and every car he sells has less miles on it than when he bought it.
I wish that I had hands like his if I could work those kinds of miracles. Just fucking hate him. I was gonna say, let's end on this. Do you think that Japan has a I can't even move on from it. Do you think that Japan as an identity is getting way too fucking diluted? Because like I've been thinking about this for a while, and like we tried, of course we did because we were stupid once, like last year, and like we tried with Curbrash and other things to make it sort of Japanese inspired, and I'm glad that we didn't. To be clear, I think that we arrived here and it's good as it is, and it's not tied to any. It is Mr. International over here. Do you think that this like Night Runner International, and of course the logo must be in katakana, and like you know what I mean? Like, do you think that that's nearing its end?
I feel like Japan, in general, is going through a sort of like popularity boom right now. Like everybody's fucking traveling to Japan. Aaron's going there
again
later this year. I'm going next year.
2 years for me, hopefully. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. But like just in general, it's more like anime is as popular as it's ever been.
Yeah. So do you think?
I think that's just spilling over into all niches, and people are trying to cash in on it while they can.
But it's always been like this with car culture because the JDM bro thing's gone on, like it's not new. So what I'm saying is, do you think, like after this popularity boom, anime is totally normal, like all this stuff, right? Like you used to be bullied about it, now it's like popular and it's the in thing. Do you think that once it becomes, and everything does, sorry to tell you young people, everything does, when it comes down, do you think that this will be seen as like a bit of a faux pas, like a bit cliche?
Yeah, like it's all cyclical, right? Like look at what people thought was popular in like the 80s or 90s.
I think it's already come around, right? Like
this is gonna sort of this will come to an end eventually, and there'll be another big thing that everyone starts styling their lifestyle brands after. But I feel like we're probably on the tail end of the JDM one.
Yeah, Aaron, you think it's out? Like you think it's already on its way out?
Like people used to get teased for being weebs. Now it's kind of like cool and accepted, right?
Yeah, but I'm saying like, I don't know, like there are things that used to be very popular that like now it's kind of like, you know, a little embarrassing, right? When you see someone doing X, Y, or Z. Do you know what I mean? Kind of like how like memes and trends come and go. Do you think that Japan has an expiry date as far as like being culturally interesting or what have you?
I don't want to say that because culturally, I feel like there's so much more to Japan than just what's popular on the internet. So I don't want to say that it's never going to be culturally interesting. I just think that the niches that people are taking out of their culture to make lifestyle brands or whatever are they're just going to be overshadowed by whatever social media deems is going to be the next big thing. Right now, it just happens to be Japan.
Fair enough.
But I feel like the Western society has always sort of, what would you even call this? Like they've always fetishized Japanese culture.
Yeah, for a
Like
number of
they've done it for
years.
so long, but I think now it's just been more mainstream. I don't know.
Well, I think the way that I've observed it, being the weeb that I was, like, you sort of went from like Japan, and then obviously with like K-pop, like I watch, like I have, younger siblings, and like I watch like my younger sister, and the way that she interacted just a couple years ago with these K-pop groups, like that took the world by storm. And then I think suddenly for a while Korea was far more interesting to the younger people than Japan was, and I think Japan is more interesting for people who are like maybe like up to 5, 6, 7 years younger than us, kind of thing. But I don't know. I just wonder if like at a certain point it becomes just uninteresting, and
I
people
think
would be
for a
like, "Oh,
long
don't."
time, Japan was like sort of like a forbidden fruit,
Yeah,
right? Like everybody wanted GTRs, but we couldn't have GTRs. Like everybody knew it existed, but didn't know much about it. And now there's such an abundance of information that everybody's sort of getting their fix, and it'll just move on at some point.
yeah. I think even like with stuff that like even with imports, right? Like after we hit like 2015, like is there really anything that like the 90s legends are now like all being like even stolen in Japan
The
and exported,
the
right? So
golden era JDM stuff is
it's over.
over.
Even just, not even golden
Like
era, but just good stuff in general is kind of over.
yeah, like you can, I guess, maybe make an argument for the STI, which ran until the early 2020s, but I mean, they were using EJs in their World War II tanks, so like that engine and drivetrain has been around forever.
Yeah. I just mean like I don't see people like there's not gonna be people like maybe Hawkeyes, Blob Eyes, but I think like once 2010 hits, like maybe the K stuff, like I'm kind of interested in the Honda S660. Like I think that thing is kind of cool. I hope I fit in it, but like
I I think it'll be a lot more niche products than
yeah,
general ones. Like you said, like the K stuff, like the 14R60 GT86 14R60 GR Yaris eventually.
yeah. Not okay. So that's a good one. That's a good one.
Wow, you can import the S660 in 5 years.
Yeah, it's kind of
Yeah.
on my list, sort of.
Just
It's not gonna be
start
super
saving.
expensive. Yeah, I mean like it doesn't seem like I don't know. That one seems like it just there won't be much competition for it because it's like
I wonder how much it'll cost.
right now they're about like low teens to mid teens, like for like a 2015 one. The newer, because they are still, I don't know if they're still being produced, but like they were still being produced until like 2020, I think. And those ones are slightly more expensive. Obviously, they're slightly newer, like any other car would be. It's slightly newer, etc. Um, I could see myself owning one of those. I think they're very very cool, but I wouldn't own it for like too much money. Like I don't think that it is kind of like a modern like Honda Beat, but like it's definitely not going to be as cool or as light. Like the Honda Beat was basically like a death machine on wheels. A death machine you can control. But if you got into an accident or got hit, like you might as well have like a pop can around you. So like you're kind of done. I don't know. I think it would be cool. I guess basically what we're saying is Japan is on its way down, and yeah, uh, that's a somber note. But I don't know. I I'm interested to see what comes next. I'm interested to see what happens to trends in the world, but don't spend $131 on a plastic box, I guess. That might be a good way to end that. I don't know. You guys have anything else to say? I'm kind of fucking out of it now.
No,
Good. I
that
hope
box really
people
fucked you
stop
up.
going to Japan so then I can go there with less tourists.
I wonder if the tourism will go
Probably
up.
go there for cheaper.
Yeah, that's true. Well, either way, I guess fuck it. Not more to be said, but look out for the Curbrash exclusive drop. I'm gonna have a password on it. You're gonna have to scan your social security number. Uh,
Coming soon.
yeah, coming soon. Big things coming soon. Fuck, I
Can't wait
guess
to
that's
drop
it.
those boxes.
Yeah, $275, bitch.